Wow, and all that business with the bad sport, I forgot that I had entered a Phyrexian queue where I was going to be playing 2 rounds, so would I like to play first? Yes, why not? 4 land, some good options. Let's see where this goes. Very curious as to who I'm playing against with a name like Blaze66. I may be facing another red player, but you can't always read a whole lot into a player's username. And really, if I was going to blaze, I'd probably blaze 666. It just seems a little hotter in hell. And is this guy not going to show up for a while either? I won't make you sit here and listen to my stupidity, so I'll just pause it. I'll be back when he shows. Of course, I'm stuffing my face now that our opponent has arrived. For this one, I think I'll start with the Tarn. At this point, it's best for deck thinning. I'm interested in a Ember Hauler into Teetering Peak attack, but I don't even know what I'm playing against, so potentially that will not pan out. Okay, so we're playing against Control, probably Cawblade control, which is good to get another matchup in here. And potentially that Teetering Peak will get through. It kind of depends whether he's Stoneforge Mystic. Probably doesn't want to use the Mystic as a chump blocker because he wants to get the sword out, which is why we have our Manic Vandal main decked and waiting. So on the early game, this isn't all bad. Let's see if we can get in for 4. But I'm actually okay with that trade, because that's going to mean he has to hardcast the sword. Okay, so it gets his squadron going. Stagger Shocks are wonderful weapons against Squadron Hawk, because you're drawing multiple cards, but we're dealing multiple damage. And here again, Teetering Peak on the Ember Hauler. Now he may have a Spell Pierce sitting at 7. That's definitely a possibility. So I think I might try the Searing Blaze. If nothing else, it draws it out. If it works, yeah. Add the Pierce. It's always good to know your opponent. Attack in, see if he'll just chump block again, which he does. Advantage is he may be using up his answers and options. He may be forced to not leave back Monolith mana. Sure enough, we now have our chance to get out Koth. Here's the challenge, is how do you play it? Because if we play Koth and attack, he probably doesn't block. Then on his turn, if he has another land, he equips him, and attacks in for 3. Koth would still be alive, just barely. If we attack, which I think they play, is going to have to be attack with Ember Hauler, see if he'll chump. And then I think we Koth and get up the mana. So now we have it sitting there waiting if he decides to try to equip his Squadron Hawk. There's the sword. Are you going to equip? Sure enough. Just like I thought you would. So I burn you. And now Koth is much more dangerous. We do have the danger of Colonnade if we can get just a little bit more. That could come on board. So the question is, what wins this game for me? Does Koth? If so, I probably want to protect him at all costs, which would be Ember Hauler, untap, so I have up enough to do sack the Ember Hauler and Stagger Shock, but he might counter one of those. So I think instead, what we gotta do with this, come on, let's Manic Vandal that, untap our mountain, get in for 4. And it becomes one of those situations where he has to spend his entire turn if he wants to damage Koth. He's not even killing him, he's just getting him low. If he does that, I'm attacking back for 8. But it looks like he might not even have that option. Yeah, so he's just hoping for answers. And mountains are colorless sources. Okay, so he's going to sacrifice the mortar pod to keep Koth away from ultimate. Bump him down just 1. Which I can respect that. So we can kill Jace this turn. We really do have him in a pretty good spot. Just to make the most of this, I guess. Let's Stagger Shock. Yes, we want to redirect Jace. Then let's untap. And attack. Kill Jace. Get in 6 more on Blaze 66. And he's back to that same spot where if you Celestial Colonnade, you're going all in, keeping Koth away from his activation. That looks like what he's doing. The process, you have just left yourself wide open for lethal. That's curious. He must not have a condemn. Alright. So that went about as well as could be expected against Cawblade. And now what we need to know is what he is bringing in. The answer, of course, is Firewalker. And how do you deal with Firewalker? Well, in my world, you ratchet bomb him, or you brittle effigy him. I'm also kind of a fan of Dragon Master Outcast. You can get him in before the opponent gets to that point where he can counter. And he's kind of useless for a couple turns, but then can become real good. I'd probably trade out the Goblin Guides for that ability. And then it's a bit of a toss-up. Red Sun Zeniths don't have as much power for me. And maybe 81 brittle energy less. We'll try that. Again, it's not an exact art. And when he's playing first, which is a little more aggressive than I see from most people playing Cawblade. Double Ratchet Bomb is kind of a nice start as he gets his 2 casting cost army on board. We can hopefully get our tokens up. This may draw out his first mono leak, or it may not. It may not be a threat on his radar at this point. Okay, a second Ratchet Bomb. Might as well. And a couple charge counters. The Edge is actually really good against the Colonnade. Probably will be using that next turn just to get rid of that. And I definitely should have used my Ratchet Bomb the first time, because then I could be on my way to 4. Instead, I'm dwindling. I got a little lucky with the Lightning Bolt. But you know, sometimes luck's better than skill. I don't need the land at this point, and he probably does, so. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. To another Jace. So right now he's just skimming. Digging and skimming and doing his best to find any answer. Any answer. Okay, so if he gives me a threat, Potentially speaking, we could Searing Blaze it. Is he going to play a second Hawks? Is he keeping back for Monolith? Will be interesting to see. Okay. At this point, I think I would rather... Well, let's try. Searing Blaze works. If he doesn't leak it, then it would be... Yep, sure enough. Maybe Flash Freeze on a leak, whatever. Had some answer. So we need to attack Jace. Okay. Now we're just sitting there. We got one more use out of it. Ratchet Bomb, I can take it up to 4 from this next turn and use it to kill him. Probably we'll see if I can attack in and kill him that way. Another possibility is if he goes all in with Squadron Hawks, or even one more in with Squadron Hawks, just Ember Hauler to kill the Jace, and Raptor Bomb to kill his Squadron Hawk army. Okay. I had a charge counter. So let's see if we can get through to Jace. And this is what I thought I'd end up having to do anyway. Do that. Yes, I want to kill him. I want to sack that to destroy your army of flyers. And sitting with that brittle effigy is nice. As I wait for another threat. Now he definitely has card advantage. He's sitting there with a handful of answers. Just not the best. Well, let's see what he does. And of course, yet another Jace. So we can draw into even more cards. Is that his third Jace this turn? Yeah. Or this game. So what do you do when your opponent in his first 22 cards gets 3 of his Jaces? The answer, of course, is you lose. And you lose kind of handedly. But if he's playing more Monoleaks than Flash Freezes, and those in Spell Pierces, he may have some trouble as the land continues to add up with actually doing counter magic. Brittle Effigy is nice to be hanging out there, just waiting for his chance at being destructive. Life Staff is an interesting play. So now I guess it's time to draw out one of those counters. No need to wait any longer. And it had to be a card counter. Good. So now we have potentially Brittle Effigy if I consider that a threat. At this point I don't. Or at least I believe that he will have better threats. Now should he equip that sword onto the Squadron Hawk, then yes, he will be effagized. Effagized? I don't know if that's a word. Whatever the case, he is going to die. Man, drink like that, he don't eat. He is going to die. And at this point, almost have to Scalding Tarn. Need the deck thinning more than almost anything. Because Jace, if he was Fate Sealing instead, could be well on his way to ultimate. But instead he is still well within Lightning Bolt range. And of course, another land, but even more thin. Gotta keep him thin. He's at 5 cards in hand. And card advantage will just continue with that Jace. This is the point where you want to make sure you're at least playing fast enough, because you're going to lose, it's going to take a very long time, and you don't want to time out. Here comes Sun Titan. Lovely. Well, I guess on the plus side, the game's going to be over very soon. Trouble here is just start dying to think, what could I even do? And if you can't draw to your outs because your outs just don't exist, some other counter? There we go. Okay. Don't waste my time with this game. None of those are going to win the game for me. So let's get back out and rethink. I did not see... Well, okay. Brittle Effigy did a good job, so did Ratchet Bomb. Those were effective sideboard ends. Ember Hauler, I like his diversity. Manic Vandal, I like that. Dragon Master Outcast. Probably not going to be an answer. By the time he's doing anything, he's getting bounced. So we'll try that. Perhaps playing first. Still not a great starting hand, but I'm okay having just a brittle effigy, ratchet bomb sitting out there. Get some answers on hand. Although I am not playing a control deck, I am playing an aggro deck. And right now my hand is very set to control against a deck which is far superior at control. Oh well. By preordaining, I know my ratchet bomb can get out there. Get a charge counter. And the Mystic will dig up an answer. Of course, Sword of Feast or Famine. Always want to see him. And we might as well get in Stagger Shock. Let's see. If we Stagger Shock on Blaze 66 instead. Right there we have 9 of our... No, we have 11. Get him down to 9. If we kill the Stormforged Mystic, which is what I was kind of thinking, we can hopefully buy time. If we get a Koth here soon, that could be the answer we need. It's almost like, can you get to Koth before they can get to Jace? Really? A game built completely around Planeswalkers. I never knew. So now rebound to his face. There's no answer to that. And we'll wait and see. If he does get Jace, he probably is going to start with the draw 3. That seems to be his default Jace move. If I was him with all the burn around, I'd probably try to Fate Seal first, but he's going for that, and I'm going to burn his face. Unfortunately, he still gets to get his effect off, but that's about the best you can hope for against Jace. Okay. Well, still no threats. Still no real pressure. Jace again. Ability again. And might as well Stagger Shock. I mean, realistically, I am going to want to kill him. Pretty much at all costs. And my turn. Back to the face. Okay. 2 Jaces dead. Fortunately, Jace is not something he can bring back with his stupid Titan. Wow, I sound bitter, don't I? Let him go searching. Get a life staff. Play it. Equip it. Alright. I'll effigize you. That's a nice thing about having that almost extra effigy. So you can play it kind of that way. I'm drawing all of the burn and none of my repeat threats. That would have been a great spot for Koth. Especially with the potential protection. But if he goes to equip, I'd say Stagger Shock. He decides against it. Here we are again. And he has a counter. So let's go with the Burst Lightning. Put out another. Search up a couple more, or at least one more. You know what? I think we try the Stagger Shock. Okay. So, is there any way we can force this? He has up to. And he has up to because he has a flash freeze. I have to hope that he will get aggressive and go for something. But he's playing it smart so far. And I may need to just set off the Ratchet Bomb to draw out. If he has a couple more. Okay. So that's his whole squadron, right? So that's going to draw my Ratchet Bomb. And I still can't play it. I'm still waiting for an answer. He's still waiting for an answer. And a little deck thinning is never bad. We can get to 8 if we can do a Koth countered and then another Koth. That might be potentially as good as it gets for our deck. Okay. So, sure, just depends on whether he's crazy or whether he does something like that, which is a much better play. This is a long game, and I apologize if you are still watching. Because I would not say this is riveting action. That's kind of the thing I hate about Cawblade. Is that it's not like fun control. Okay, so we're at a point where basically it's all in. If we did 3, we could still bump it the next turn. And here we go with the counter. Flash freeze. And there we go. Just as I suspected. Oh man. Waiting to die is just not a lot of fun. Okay, at this point, what chance do I have for victory? None. I'm just gonna quit. It's not even fun playing. And if you're not having fun, then stop, because it's a game.